Hello everyone, Elijah here. I'd like to welcome you all to another Epic 7 Abyss video. We are on floor 10 of the challenge mode, the final floor for now, and I'm so glad it's over because I I am so broke re-gearing and ungearing people like every day. But after this, it'll be over and I'll be free to not be broke anymore, essentially. But yeah, this is the team that I used. Relatively free-to-play friendly team, I guess. A replacement for Adin, if you do not have Adin, I would say would be Sid, and you can honestly use either Kitty Clarissa or Oxlots here is also another good option to help your DPS turn cycle. I think Oxlots is actually better if you're using Sid, but I think Kitty Clarissa works a lot better if you're using Adin, given Adin's CR push, because it's actually a very big CR push she gets on her S1 whenever she triggers, whenever she uses her S1. So yeah, this is the team we're using. I'll go ahead and go over some of the boss mechanics. Essentially, you want to not trigger Outrage, and triggering Outrage is essentially when he procs his extra attack after using Dark Shadow for the 4th time. I could swear to you that he used it like 10 times in the recording, but he does a lot of extra attacks, so it's kind of hard to keep count, but just pay careful attention. It's really hard to tell, honestly, because he does a ton of extra attacks. But aside from that, also clearing it without a starting 5-star grade hero. And that's what we have here. So let's go ahead and go into stats. My Angelica is literally, she hasn't changed. She is on her Wyvern gear. Nothing is special about her whatsoever. I will say, if you do want to do it, I will say changing her gear to make her faster would make her be more useful. Since I didn't want to do that, because I don't have the goal to do so, give her Idle Shear and she'll be useful. Because he procs a lot of extra attacks, he will essentially be CR pushing your a lot of like extra single attacks. If he's targeting your Angelica, he will be CR pushing your Adin like crazy if you have Idle Shear, especially if you have like a higher max Idle Shear for this. If you don't have Idle Shear, any other like dispelling debuffs artifact or just any other artifact to help increase survivability for your team also works out very well for this floor, or just use Candlestick so that she cycles through her abilities a lot faster. Then we have our Adin. This will be our DPS. I have Adin on not Destruction, on Penetration Rage set. Since Adin doesn't necessarily have any kind of like penetration, I guess, in her kit, I opt for giving her a little pin because you are only really using single attacks. You're only going to be using her S3 and her S1, and that's about it. I did use her S2 in the fight, but then I realized how pointless it was to use that because he does cleanse himself, and it wasn't worth doing that. So I just decided to just opt to only using her S3 and S1, and it was just a lot better to just do that. And then I also have her on Daydream Joker. If you do not have a good rage set or a good pin set to put on, honestly, any of your best, just aim for full damage. Rage set does help out a lot, killing the boss faster, but if you don't have rage, then go for destruction. If you don't have pin, then go for crit. That's essentially the word of advice that I have. If you don't have any of those, then go for your best attack set. Then we have, who's X on the list? Our Kitty, who is, you want her to sit around 250 speed, have decent effectiveness. You actually don't necessarily need to restrict. I actually would say the restriction didn't really help out that much, and it was kind of pointless, especially since I am not really using any AoE attacks on this team, so you don't necessarily have to worry about needing the restrict. So I would say aim for high effect resistance and not the effectiveness. I got the effectiveness for the restrict to restrict the other minions that are paired with Sez because they do CR push themselves when you use an AoE attack, but they are already really slow, so if you're not using AoE attacks, then you don't really need the restrict. at all. It's actually better just to go for high effect resistance and do a build like that. High speed, high effect resistance, and some decent HP and a little bit of defense. I think it was a lot better of a build. And then I have her on Warhorn so that she turn cycles and also supports the team by giving increased attack. Then we have, I already passed by her unintentionally. FKluri, she is your knight. She will be your damage mitigation. She also has the 2-turn defense break. She helps really set up um, for your DPS to do a crap ton of damage, especially having Adin's S3 damage happen while a target's defense break it does an insane amount of damage, and it's actually really good. So FKluri is here to set up for that, and also have her decent effectiveness and 270 speed. Actually, I don't think the speed needs to be 270, but I feel like the 270 really helps FKluri does what she needs to do, which is turn cycle, because of how she like CR push herself pretty rapidly, and it helps you get her S3 up a lot faster. So yeah, aim for as much speed as you can on your Kitty Carissa as well as your FKluri. Aim for your Angelica just to be tanky and just to sit there and to help CR push your Adin with Idol's Shear. And then aim for Adin to be as much damage as you can get on Adin. And like I said, if you don't have Adin, then you can replace Adin with Sid, who I would say is probably arguably better for this floor. I just don't have my Sid built and I didn't want to. So yeah, this is the team that I use, and I will now go into the video of me beating it. Alright, so this floor is relatively easy because Saz is really squishy, so if you have the gear, you should be able to do this relatively simple. I try to control the guys in the back by using like Restrict and things like that. Completely unnecessary. I realized like halfway through the battle that there's absolutely no point in trying to control the people in the back. So you should essentially just aim to DPS the boss down. Like you just go for it. Go for the boss. And as you can see, Adin is like getting CR pushed like crazy every time he focuses Angelica, which is like amazing. So just aim to DPS the boss. It is the best option to do. And then also having those two-turn defense breaks from two different people makes it so that it's a lot easier to actually keep a defense break on Seth. So he does cleanse himself every single turn. At least one debuff every turn. So yeah, other than that, focus the boss down. Don't do this. Don't use your S2. There's no point in doing that. Just focus the boss. That's it. But yeah, other than that, everything should be self-explanatory. Good luck. Hopefully you guys pulled some nice MLs from all the rewards we got from this. And yeah, I will see you guys back to my normal Epic 7 content, like RTA and Guild Wars, in the next video. Peace.
Too late, am I? Play with me, Al? Never let my guard down. Where are you looking? Over here! This job is a little easier. Tire them out! That's right! The goddess wills it. I'll show you the trick, darkness. Destroying everything? Here's time. You better be prepared. This is the start. Meow. Don't give up. Meow. Destroying everything? It's too late. I can't stop now. You're weaker than I thought. Maybe I'm working too hard. Oh, it can't be such a pity. You'll regret underestimating me.